Okay, you ready to teach, Balthazar? I think he's ready. It's amazing how he just knows where I'm going to start every time. Okay, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Today we're going to have a particular focus on split pose. It is one of the most challenging poses for me. So I'm going to use some blocks as we build this. So if you have some blocks nearby, I think they're wonderful tools to have for split poses. But we're going to do it in a variety of planes, and we're going to isolate one leg and the other. We're going to work our psoas muscle, our lower abdominal muscles. So we're going to really hone in on this region while we get some flowing in as well. Had a lot of fun on Sunday's workshop that was focused on core conditioning. I'll be doing the next one the second Sunday of July. So I'll have that up on my website soon. Usually I'm going to go for the first Sunday of each month, but being that's July 4th weekend, depending on where you are, you might be celebrating or doing some things. So I'll hold it off a week. DerekBarris.com/yoga for donation links and information on everything that I'm doing here. Okay, so hopefully you are sitting in hero's pose, which I am. If you're not, go ahead and take a seat there. If this bothers your knees or your ankles, you can roll up a blanket under your knees, or you can put a block under your seat. And of course, you can sit cross-legged and modified if this pose is not for you. We're just going to start by stretching out the fronts of our ankles here, which we've been doing. And let's do some cat-cows. So hands on your thighs. And then as you inhale, pull your heart forward. And as you exhale, round your back. Just taking a few rounds like that. Take 2 or 3 more rounds. Okay, last one. Now, as you find your neutral spine, bring your hands behind you a little bit and lean back into that stretch. And for some of you, you won't feel much here. For some of you, it might be a lot, depending on how often you work your feet and your ankles in this direction. Maybe you can lift your knees up here off the ground, and then maybe you can even hover your arms off the ground. Just finding that balance point, knees hovering. Take 3 breaths. Now engage your abdominal muscles here. You're not just leaning back, but you are trying to maintain some engagements here. You should feel it hopefully in your psoas as you lean back a little further. That's what we're going for. Last breath. Good. And then tap your knees down to the ground. Now, hands down next to your knees. This is kind of a bigger cat-cow. As you inhale, pull your heart forward. And then as you exhale, you're going to round your back, pull your knees up to your chest, push the ground away. Inhale, tap your knees down, pull your heart forward. Exhale, push the ground away, round 2. One more like that. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Now, inhale, tap your knees down, thunderbolt pose. Come up to stand on your shins, lift your heart. As you exhale, come back down, round your back, knees up, maybe bend your elbows, hover your feet off the ground. Tap down, thunderbolt. Exhale, down, round, pull, maybe hover. One more, thunderbolt. Exhale. Pull it in, round, push the ground away. Try that hover. And sit back down. Okay. Take your left foot over and then bring your right foot inside of your left knee. So you're in a half hero's pose with your left leg, your right heel. And again, it's almost like Janu Sukhasana with a bent left knee. And then just take a twist over to the right. And then twist over to the left. So as you move side to side here, Trying to drop your left sitting bone to the ground. Now for some of you that might be there already, and then you're just enjoying the twist a little more. For me, trying to get my sits bone down is a lifelong occupation. Okay, and then finding your center position. Now just pause here for a moment and sit back into it, or you can bring your right foot up into a half hero's pose. I'm sorry, a half lotus. And then you're going to turn your body over your right knee and just settle your left hip back. That might be enough. You may be able to take your right hand behind your back and grab your big toe of your right foot. That doesn't happen for me, but I can hook my bicep. So I feel plenty of stretch here, just about 3 breaths. So I'm pulsing a little bit, right? I'm just manipulating my body, little small movements here, right? I don't really like to start with static stretching. So just getting my body prepared for what's ahead. And then turn back to center and straighten your right leg out. Now I'm in a half hero's pose in my left leg. My right foot is up to start. So a traditional sort of straight right leg hamstring stretch. Fold over your right leg and then roll back up. So we have this cat-cow movement happening now. So a few undulations, a few waves here. Let's say 2 more. And 1. And then take your hands behind you and then sit up onto your left heel and bring your right foot even with your left knee. If you've practiced with me, I love this one. Just a little left quadricep stretch. Push your hips forward. Drive your left shin down and then sit back down. Little pulses here. So a bit in the shoulders as well. We'll take 3 more. Now if you just lift your hips, that's one thing, but pushing your left shin down really creates a little more engagement. All right, last one. And then sit back down. Now again, drop your hip over and then take your right leg straight again. Now this time you're in external rotation, so your right toes are pointed straight out to the side. So work a little adductor here. Your hands are back, but your chest is lifted. We're gonna pulse our right leg up, lift. 2, we'll do 10. So just pulsing from that inner thigh. 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, swing your left leg around, shake that out. Fire up our psoas muscles here. Point your toes, and then pull your toes back. So point your toe mounds, I should say, point. Hands forward. You probably know this if you've taken my class. Hands next to your knees, easier. Next to ankles, harder. I'll meet you halfway. Look forward, heart forward. 10 pulses. Squeeze your inner thighs. Let's go. 10, 9, 8. Keep it up. 5, 3, and 1. Put it down. Now, bend your knees. Slide your knees in. Give a little squeeze here. Just going to do 5 slow pulses here. So going boat pose, lower down, half boat, lift up 1. Squeeze your inner thighs. So again, just 5, nothing crazy, but controlled. 2, 3, 2 more. Last one. And up. Good, put your feet back down. Now, take your right leg, pull it back into half hero's pose. And then you're gonna bend your left knee. So you're in this sort of John U shape in this half heroes. And then turn over your left knee, and then turn over your right thigh. And again, just trying to get your right sitting bone towards the ground. If it's down easily, awesome. One more round here. Okay, and then as you center off, bringing your left foot up into that half lotus. You may just stay here and breathe. You may wrap your left hand to your right bicep, which is where I'm gonna go. You may be able to take your left big toe with your left first two fingers, which is kind of nice. And then just turning over your left knee and holding, or again, just this gentle rocking action. So loosening up both my inner left thigh and then feeling my right sitting bone drop down as well. One more breath. Okay, stretch your left leg out. And then maintaining that right foot, turn your left toes up so you're in a true half hero's pose. Lengthen forward over your left leg, get into that hamstring, and then roll back up. So again, finding this undulatory movement in your spine. Take 3 more. For 2. And 1. Okay, now from there, hop up onto your right heel and bend your left knee. So now we're in this perch position. Drive your hips forward, push your right shin down, and release 1. So just playing with that for 5 repetitions. 3 more. Last round. And back down to half heroes. Stretch your left leg out, and now your toes are pointed out to the left. And then get hands next to your hips. Let's pulse this left leg up. So working that inner thigh action here. 4, 5, flexion of that foot. Last 5, 4, final 2. And 1. Okay, unwrap that right leg, extend your right leg forward, shake it out, see how it's feeling. Okay, let's do it again. Point your toes, floint. So toe mounds, hands forward. Maybe you can sneak them forward just a little bit more. Heart forward. Try to lengthen through your back. Engage navel in. Here we go. Let's have fun. 10. Pulse. 5. And 1. Whew. Bend your knees, wrap it up, shake it out. Okay, same idea here, 5 repetitions, finding boat pose. Lengthen up, lower down, with control, back up. 1, 2, 3, last 2, and 1. And up. Okay, cross your right shin in front of your left. If you have a block, grab it. If you don't, not a big deal. So finding Sukhasana. So right shin in front of left, or on top, or half lotus, whatever works. Lotus if it's there for you, right side. Now, if you need to sit on a block, you have 2, you can do that. If you only have 1 block, and you need to sit on it rather than do the arms with it, okay? You're gonna lift the block up overhead. Now, you're gonna ground your sitting bones down and think of warrior 3. Lengthen as far forward as you can. Engage your shoulders, engage your navel, lift back up. We'll do 5, lengthen out. Lift up. 3 more. And up. For 2, try to keep your biceps next to your ears. And up. Number 5, we're going to go down, pause, take 3 breaths, lengthen. Think about warrior 3. Drive your sitting bones back. Try to lift the block a little higher without lifting your chest for 2. Lengthen a little more. Release the block. Take 3 breaths. Just fold over your legs. Let your body weight open up your inner thighs here. One more breath. Now, squeeze the block with your hands. Lift your arms first. Pull back up from center. Bring the block to your chest. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Shake them out. Okay, now you're going to bend your knees. Have your block here if you have it. Again, if you don't, hands can be block distance. You're going to lift up. Rotate onto your left side and then straighten your legs. Whoa, block over to the right. Pulse back up. So just that side. Lengthen. Pulse up 2. So you're on just that left glute. 3. Lengthen. Pulse up 4. 5. 5 more. 5. Try to leap that block over. 4. A little more to the right. 3. Final 2. And 1. Pulse up. Back to center. Shake it out. Second side. Cross your left shin in front of your right or on top of your right, however you sat the other side. And sit up tall. Lift the block up or just your arms. Again, drive your sitting bones back. Lengthen forward. Inhale, pull from center, keeping that tension on the block. Lengthen out 2. 3 more. Inhale. And exhale, 4. Final 1, inhale. As you exhale, 5, find your flat back, pause for 3 breaths. Warrior 3 in your upper back. Strong navel, strong shoulders for 2. Sitting bones push back into the ground. Take another inhale. Keep that length. Lower the block. Let your body weight and gravity work together. 3 deep breaths. Now try to come out the way you did. Squeeze the block, extend it up, all the way up to sit. And block in front of your chest, extend your legs out in front of you. Shake it out. Okay, so twisting movement, you're trying to rotate just onto your right sitting bone, not your sitting bone actually, onto your glute. You need a little more surface area than your sitting bone. So as you drop over to the right, you lengthen out, block is over to the left, pulse up. Extend. Pulse up 2. 3. 4. So working the obliques. 5. The more you can twist. 5 more. 5. Last 3. 2. And 1. Pulse up to center. Put the block down. Okay, 2 more things seated. One's a stretch, and do one more fun little thing. So, of course, split pose, so focused on our psoas muscle and our hamstrings, quadriceps, but I know you can't see my feet in the screen. Externally rotate from your hips, right? Just warming up that rotation and back up. So you can use your hands as well on your feet to give a little pulse, but as always, make sure that the action is originating at the head of your femur bone here. Try to lengthen your heart forward. So I've done 5, I'll do 5 more. 5. We'll pause at the bottom. Final 3. 2. And 1. This is the first core exercise I remember, and I remember doing it in dance all the time, and I've always loved it. I'll give you the number. I'm just going to do 5 rounds. I usually go a little longer in my classes, but hover your feet off the ground, extend your arms forward. I need a little more room. Now from there, lower almost down, half boat, and then come up onto your left sitting bone, twist your arms to the right, come through center to the right glute, I should say, twist to the left. All right, so Again, I apologize for the sitting bone reference. It's more on the belly of the glute there as you roll to the side too. 3, 2 more rounds. Now on Sunday, Elena, you said you needed some more core work. Well, here you go. 4, last one, roll it down, and up, and down, and up. 5, center off, boat pose, and come onto your hands and knees. Okay, do a little cat-cow, work that out. Do some circles. Okay, and then from there, downward dog. And just press back and take a moment, pedal out through your feet. Pretty frontal class in terms of lunging today. We're mostly going to be working lunges, but we will do a little bit of external rotation standing as well. Let's begin. Lift your right leg up, bend your right knee, open your hip. Now you have this scorpion tail. You're lifting your left armpit as well as your right. Your left heel is driving down. Now from your inner thigh, your right inner thigh, pulse up, pulse, pulse, pulse. 4, 5. Keep driving your left heel down. Last 5, 4, 3. Think straight up to the ceiling instead of behind you. And 1, pull your knee to your chest, step to your first lunge. Okay, tap your back knee down. Walk your right foot forward about halfway towards splits. And then come to the top of your left foot. Move your body side to side here. Right, so it's like you're almost like, oh, I'm thinking about sliding into split pose. Not there yet though, we got a lot of work before we get there. So it's kind of moving around a little bit. And then find somewhere where your right foot is in front of your knee a bit. And come up to your fingertips or your blocks. Now push the top of your left foot down and let's pulse that left knee up. Pulse. Pulse. I've been like in 10, so we'll do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. As you lower your knee, tuck your toes. Slide your right foot back just a little so it's right under your normal lunge, and then go ahead and stretch both legs straight. Same idea, sway your hips side to side here. And then make sure your feet are about hip distance as always. Tap your left knee down, stretch your arms up, low lunge. Lower your hands, stretch both legs straight. Just 3 of these. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, straighten 2. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Now from there, bend your front knee and then just step to the top of your mat. Forward bend. Soften your knees, round up to stand. All right, bring your left knee up to standing balance. Give it a hug and then move your left hip a little side to side. So really what I'm doing here, yeah, I'm working the left hip, but I'm testing my balance in my right leg because we're going to balance next. Okay, so this knee is about hip height. Drop it a little bit so you can engage. Stretch your arms up. We'll do 5 here. Now, lower your left knee just behind your right knee. Sit back over your right foot, and then inhale, press back up. 1. So just lift the knee, but keep the abdominal engagement. Lower down. Sit back. 2. Lift up. Lower. So again, smoothness of action. 2 more. Much more important than speed. Whoa. Lower down. 4. Last one. Lift up. Lower down. 5. Lift up. And put your foot down. Walk it out. Okay, feet together. Inhale, let's flow. Stretch your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Flat back, inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Stay with me for a round. Stretch your left leg up. Step to lunge. High lunge, inhale. Hands down, chaturanga. Just a flow, right side, high lunge. Leg up and step. Inhale. Just a chance to move through some poses before we keep isolating. Today is really about isolating and movement rather than flow. Okay, stretch your left leg up. Bend your left knee, open your hip. Notice if you instinctively lean to the right, lift your right armpit and then drive your right heel down. Now from there, from your inner left thigh, pulse. Again, think up, not behind you. 4, 5 more. Last 3, 2, lift, knee to chest, step to lunge. Lower your back knee. Untuck your toes. Walk your foot again, your left foot forward a little, and then it's a little side to side movement. Okay, now find your hands on your blocks or your fingertips. Top of the foot down. Let's pulse that right leg. Pulse. 2. There's 5. 5 more. 5. Last 3, 2, and 1. Okay, put your knee down. Slide your left foot back a little bit, and then tuck your right toes. Stretch up. Low lunge. Lower your hands, stretch both legs straight. Take an extra breath there because I forgot the breath on the other side. So sway your hips side to side before we started there. Okay, let's move through that 2 more times. Lower your right knee, stretch your arms up. Hands come down, stretch your legs straight. 2. 1 more, inhale. Hands down, exhale, 3. Getting into that hamstring. Okay, soften your left knee, step to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Soften your knees, round up to stand. Take your right knee, pull it up a little higher now. Now you can use your arms here to just move that leg around for a moment. And again, just as you move that right hip, how's that left leg reacting? That's what's really interesting to me here. Now, you want to lower your hip to hip height, your knee, so that you can gauge your abdominal muscles, arms up. So your range of motion, drop your shin down just behind your left foot, sit back as much as you can, and then you got to pulse back up. 1. Whoa. Trying to maintain that center line. Lower down. Pulse up 2. Now, important here, drive your, this side's interesting. Come on down. Try to drive your left foot down. Pulse up 3. I find that when I can really stay focused, 2 more, on my left foot, right, it becomes a little smoother. If I start thinking about all the other pieces, I sort of lose my focus on where my balance originates. Last one, pulse up 5. And walk it out. Okay, so those last 2, I kept my awareness in my foot, became a lot smoother. Feet together, stretch up. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Chaturanga. Okay, right leg up. And bring it forward. Right side, high lunge. Inhale. Chaturanga. Left leg up. And lunge it. Bring it up. And flow. Let's add a layer of balance. Step your left foot forward 2 to 3 inches. Spin your heel down like a warrior one. Lift your right leg. Bend your right knee, take your left hand, grab your right foot. Externally rotate that hip. Now, if holding your foot doesn't work, take your left hand to your left ankle and just keep your right leg up. 3 breaths. Look forward with control, step to lunge. Tap your back knee down, keep your toes tucked. Stretch up, inhale. Toes tucked, runner stretch. Sit back, hands can come down or float behind you. There's a foot stretch. 2 more, inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale, high lunge, pull up. Exhale, left knee sits down behind your right foot. Sit back. Stand up. Left leg drives up. High lunge. Inhale. Do it again. Sit down with control. Sit back. Balance 2. Up. 1 more. High lunge. Sit it down. Balance up 3. Good. Standing, split. Okay, here we are. Hands down. You can have blocks, of course. I am going to focus on keeping a square left hip and just driving my foot back for 5 breaths. Maybe my hand goes behind my ankle, maybe both. But now I'm starting to think towards split pose. So I'm working my outer left hip down and my inner left thigh up for 2 more breaths. Pressing through the inside edge of my right foot so that I'm not rolling my foot. My leg's nice and strong there. Last breath. And step back to lunge. Good. Tap your back knee down. Okay, walk your right foot over to the right. And then setting up our hamstring curls here. So we get into that back leg a little more. I like fingertips here so that I can pulse my heart up. Now sink into that hip and then bend your left knee, heel towards glute, and release. Just doing 5. A little squeeze at the end, right? Really drives it home. So you bend and then squeeze in at the end. 4. 1 more. Bend, squeeze, and 5. Now set up lizard pose. Drop your forearms down. Now we're getting somewhere towards splits. If you want, lift your back knee up. Go for it. Breathe for 5. And then we'll take the quad stretch next if you want. So heel drives back, heart pulls forward. Try to keep length in your back here so you're not just rounding. A couple more breaths. Tap your knee down. Walk your hands back and then bend your left knee. Reach your right hand back. See if you can grab the outside of the foot. Everyone's favorite quadriceps stretch. Left forearm can come down. And I like the twist. I'm going to work the twist here for 5 breaths. Now, as always, sinking your hip forward and down is more important than pulling your foot in. Foot in is just the cherry there, right? Take 2 more breaths. Okay, release that foot. Tuck your toes, lift your back knee. Straighten your right leg. Walk your right foot all the way to the left side of the mat. Tap down, pigeon pose. Now, come to the top of your left foot. Come up onto your fingertips. Lift your left knee, lower it. See if you can sink your right hip a little more. Pulse. 2, 3, 2 more. And 1. Lower your knee, find pigeon. Just 5 breaths. All right, now really focus on driving the top of your left foot down. All right, remember where we're going. All right, we're aiming towards that more frontal pose, which is split. So the external rotation is nice here, but it's really the top of that left thigh that I'm thinking about on this pigeon. And the more you drive your left foot down, the more your right glute is going to get it anyway. So that's a good bonus there. 2 more breaths. Okay, walk your hands back. You can go to down dog or just slide the leg back, chaturanga. And pedal it out. Okay, step your right foot 2 to 3 inches forward, heel down. Warrior 1, right leg, left leg up. Now again, you can just bend the knee and open the hip. You can take your right hand to your left foot, or right foot, or grab your left foot. And then lift your inner left thigh up and take 3 breaths. With control, bring it forward, lunge. As you lower your right knee, toes tucked, stretch your arms up. Low lunge. Runner stretch. Again, hands can come down or not. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. And exhale, 3. High lunge. Come on up. Come into that perch. Right shin down. Sit it back. Drive that knee up with control. Step back into lunge. High lunge. Inhale. Sit it down, 2. Balance. And back. 1 more. Inhale. Perch it down. Balance. Standing split. 3. Okay. So again, you're standing split, so you can play with variations. I'm going to work on a true standing split, meaning my legs, there is no external rotation in my right hip. Outer right hip down, inner right thigh up, heel drives back. And then I feel a little better about pulling in. Take 3 more breaths. Release your hands, step back to lunge. Lower your knee, walk your left foot over to the left. Again, blocks are great here, fingertips, and then heart forward. Pulse that right leg, curl, and release. So again, find your range and then pull in. 2. 3 more. Final 2. And 1. And release down and come onto your forms for lizard. And again, you can stay knee down or drive your leg back. Either way, heart forward. Let's breathe here for 5. Tap your knee down, walk your hands back, and bend your knee. Take your left hand back, see if you can catch the outside of your foot. If not, return to the last pose. Maybe right forearm down. And again, sink your right hip down as you pull that foot in after you find the depth of the hip. Take 3 more breaths. And with control, release that leg, walk your hands back, lift up, walk your left foot all the way over to the right side of your mat. and then drop your hip for pigeon. So up on your fingertips, top of your foot, lift your right knee, release. 4 more, lift, lower. Last 3, 2, and 1. Come on down onto your forearms. And again, just 5 breaths. Focus on the top of the right foot, right? If your mental energy is in that foot driving down, and then coordinate that with your breath, pretty much takes care of all of your cognitive space, right? Of at least of your awareness. So keep your awareness focused on that stretch. We're heading towards splits next. Last couple breaths here. And again, some of you might not, splits might be like home. It's not like that for me. It's not like that for most people. So that's good. We gotta keep our mental and emotional awareness in check while we're doing these postures. Last breath. Bring your hands back, tuck your toes. Again, you can go right back or just slide back in Chaturanga. Okay, step your right foot to lunge. Lower your left knee. Now, we'll slide back first to half splits. I'm going to have my blocks here. To half splits. And half splits is a great place to be. So I'm in the deeper half splits, meaning I'm sitting all the way back in hero's pose and then fold. You can also have your hips right above your knee here, your left knee, and then fold. This is a great place to be. I actually feel plenty right here. So if this is where you're going to stay here. I'm going to grab my blocks, and then here's the thing about splits. Now, as I come down, you notice the tendency I see a lot of times is for people to walk their blocks forward as they come forward. Now the problem with this is, okay, I'm about the depth of my splits. It's not super deep. Splits, as I said, is a very hard pose for me. But right now, and I'm purposefully doing this, if I'm just pitched forward, my shoulder heads are rounding, I'm clenching, and I'm not actually in my hamstring the way I want to be. I want to bring the blocks back and find Tadasana in my upper body. And now I feel that left leg working, whereas before it was just the right leg. Now I can really settle into this pose for the next few moments. So find somewhere where you can feel yourself upright as much as possible. Unless you're in half splits, then the folding is appropriate. Now, if your pelvis is on the ground, then forward bending and twisting, then it's a different story. So again, you have to recognize where you are in this pose. And for me, I can keep snaking down as I get accustomed to it. But I have to keep my shoulders above my hips if I want to keep my alignment. Let's take about 5 more breaths here. Close your eyes, settle in. Engage your pelvic floor, pull up, slide that leg back. Oh, that's a little sloppy. There we go. And come into downward facing dog. And take your time. And just pedal out. Notice what you feel there. Like I said, I feel quite a bit in my splits. Right now, as I'm pedaling, what I do feel, though, is a lot longer in my calf muscles and hamstrings as I pedal. So that feels good. So let's do the other side. Step your left foot to lunge. And then again, just to revisit, you can sit all the way back. You got to keep your foot flexed as you fold. Halfway is actually where I like to start from so that I set it up. Okay, so now my right knee is right below my hip, basically, and then I just slide my left leg forward. Now my left leg is not nearly as open as my right, so I have to take it gently, but again, those blocks come back next to my hips. And what that does is it allows me not to go into what I call the cheerleader split, right? That open right hip out to the side to let my left hip drop. I mean, that's nothing wrong with that. People can get to the ground is great. But for this split, I want to wrap my right hip forward and feel my left sitting bone pull back. And then I feel both legs working, not just that left leg. When you find it, close your eyes, settle in. Have a few more moments here. Last 2 breaths. Again, engage your pelvic floor, pull your abdominals in, it'll help that transition. Slide back and come into your final downward facing dog. Just pedal for a moment, see how that feels. If you want a final plank, chaturanga. And then looking forward, come down onto your shins and slide up near the top of your mat. Okay, so before we take a back bend and then call it today, since we got to our split in time, we will take hero's pose. So again, if this is bothersome on your knees or ankles where it's a sharp pain, please sit cross-legged and just meditate and just close your eyes and enjoy it. That's great. This is enough, this is enough. I'm gonna go into my full heroes, so feet go out and then butt drops down. Now, if I were to just stay here upright, I would put a block under or I would slide my towel under because I'm almost down, and on my better days I can get there, kind of. Right, but I'm gonna lean back and just add a little bit to it. So I'm gonna drop to my forearms, but if you can drop to your back, awesome. And then we're just gonna breathe here. Take about 5 more deep breaths. And as you're ready, push forward and come onto your hands and knees. Stretch a leg back and stretch the other leg back. And there you go. Come to lie on your back. Wrap it around and put your feet on the ground. All right, let's take one back bend here to wrap it. So setting up bridge pose, hands down, lift up. If you have a wheel practice, move into wheel and enjoy. Especially notice those fronts of your thighs. Hopefully you feel pretty open here. Let's breathe for 5. And as you lower down, hug your knees into your chest. Give it a little squeeze, a little rock. We're gonna give our lower back a little love here before we take our resting pose, happy baby pose. And just move side to side, forward and back, straddle your legs, straddle one leg, straddle the other. This really, I mean, I got the leg movement here, but we've been in those rotator muscles and the psoas the whole time. I'm just really enjoying using the ground to massage my QL right here, my lower back muscle. And then as you're ready, let it go. Almost want to join you, but I'll take it after I turn off the feed. Please take at least 5 minutes for your Shavasana or your meditation here. I will see you on Thursday for stretch session. I hope you had fun with that. I know I did. Namaste.